Good afternoon, this is StaffsLive. I'm Charlie Malem.
And I'm Kate Stewart, and here are today's 12 o'clock deadlines.
Roy Hodgson is reportedly interested in the vacant Leicester City job.
Michael Phelps says he never competed in a clean international field.
And Daniel Ricciardo believes Red Bull can beat Mercedes.
There were 3 games in the Championship last night. Our reporter Joe Haynes has the roundup.
Newcastle United returned to the top of the Championship last night, but it wasn't easy at Brighton, and they went behind just 13 minutes in as referee Bobby Magley judged that Kieran Clark had pulled down Glenn Murray inside the area, and the striker got up to convert the spot kick to give the Seagulls the lead. It took until the 81st minute for the visitors to level, and it came in unusual fashion, with Christian Atsu's wild-wide shot deflected off the foot of Mohamed Diarmé and flying straight into the top right-hand corner of the net. Their winner came 1 minute from time as late substitute Ayoze Perez was given too much time in the area to slot Atsu's low cross past a helpless Caldolo. Meanwhile, Blackburn condemned Derby to a second defeat in as many games, with the only goal of the game coming as Sam Gallagher was brought down inside the box by Alex Pearce, and Craig Conway converted to give Rovers a much-needed victory. Meanwhile, Aston Villa recorded back-to-back victories by defeating Bristol City, and after missing a first-half penalty, it was Jonathan Kocher who gave the hosts the lead, with a superb header into the left-hand corner of the net. Their lead was doubled just 5 minutes later, and it came after Albert Adoma's mishit shot arrived at the feet of Conor Hourihane, who slotted the ball past Fabian Guyver.
There's FA Cup 5th round action tonight. Rory Daly has the latest ahead of tonight's game.
Manchester City will take on Huddersfield tonight, with a trip to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup quarter-final up for grabs. The Championship side had a goal ruled out just under a fortnight ago and will be without Aaron Moy, who can't play against his parent club, while Casey Palmer and Christian Schindler are both out through injury for the trip to the Etihad Stadium. Vincent Kompany is close to returning to full fitness for the Premier League side, and Gail Clichy will likely return after suffering from a back problem. However, Guardiola's latest comments and Joe Hart have cast further doubt over the 2-time Premier League winner's future at the club.
Has the situation this season at all changed your mind or thinking about Joe Hart, and could he yet have a future back here?
I'm so happy with Willie Clan.
Reports are claiming that former England manager Roy Hodgson is interested in talking to Leicester City about the vacant manager's job. Claudio Ranieri was sacked on Thursday, with the Foxes 1 point above the relegation zone at the time, before they beat Liverpool on Monday night. Sky sources claim that while Hodgson is interested in the job, it's unclear whether the decision makers at Leicester consider Hodgson as a candidate.
BBC sources claim that Leicester have held informal talks with Hodgson, but he is just one potential candidate they have spoken to, and that if the Premier League champions' upturn in form continues, caretaker manager Craig Shakespeare will remain in charge until the end of the season.
In Scotland, Aberdeen's loss to Hamilton last night, courtesy of a Mikey Devlin goal, means Brendan Rodgers' side are one step closer to mathematically securing the league. Celtic take on Inverness Caledonian Thistle tonight, with a chance to go 27 points clear at the top of the table. The Glasgow Giants are unbeaten in 32 domestic games, and their only blemish came in a 2-2 draw at the Caledonian Stadium in September.
Poor weather conditions saw Port Vale's game against Rochdale last night called off. Vale are now 3 games behind the rest of the league and will have a busy end to the season.
It's currently day 3 of the first pre-season test in Barcelona. Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen was fastest yesterday, whilst like Red Bull, McLaren are looking to move on from a disappointing first 2 days in which they struggled with engine problems, allowing them to do just 69 laps in comparison to Mercedes' 300 plus. Nico Rosberg's replacement, Valtteri Bottas, is currently at the top of this morning's timing sheet. The Finn is now half a second clear of Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel in second. And despite spinning off yesterday morning, Lance Stroll is up to third. The 18-year-old Canadian is making his debut with Williams this year alongside veteran Felipe Massa.
Daniel Ricciardo says Red Bull can beat Mercedes despite a slow start to testing. Red Bull were damaged by Renault engine problems on Monday, while Ricciardo and teammate Max Verstappen were both a couple of seconds adrift of the fastest Mercedes on their respective days running. Ricciardo remains confident of a turnaround once the campaign begins, with Red Bull expected to reveal their full pace potential once aerodynamic improvements are added to the RB13 for Test 2 next week.
In boxing, David Hay and Tony Bellew will top the bill at the O2 Arena this Saturday in a bid to settle their heated rivalry. Both boxers attended a press conference in Liverpool on Monday to hype the fight, with the security between both men to prevent the heated exchanges from escalating. Following derogatory comments made by David Hay in the build-up and during the confrontation, the British Boxing Board of Control are looking to investigate the 36-year-old after he stated his intentions were hospitalise Bellew in their fight. The board will now consider punishment for Hay, with promoter Eddie Hearn admitting that his comments bring boxing into the gutter a little bit.
In athletics, Liverpool City Council are willing to step in to take over the 2022 Commonwealth Games from Durban. The South African city, who were the sole bidders for the Games, have admitted they are under financial restraints and that they may have to pull out. If Liverpool do take over, it will be the first time England have hosted the Games since 2002, when Manchester held the prestigious event.
Surrey bowler Tom Curran has been added to England's one-day squad for their international tour against the West Indies. Curran is of international cricket stock, his father being the late Zimbabwean all-rounder Kevin Curran, and it is the 21-year-old's first international call-up.
Former swimmer Michael Phelps says he never raced against a completely clean international field. The most decorated Olympian of all time, with 23 gold medals, including 5 at Rio last year, wants US lawmakers to push for global anti-doping reforms. Phelps gave evidence at a US House of Representatives hearing into improving anti-doping measures.
Throughout my career, I've thought that some athletes were cheating, and in some cases, those suspicions were confirmed. Given all the testing I and so many others have been through, I have a hard time understanding this. In addition to the tests and competitions, I had to notify USADA as to where I was every day, so they would be able to conduct random tests outside of competition.
Now for the best of social media with Top Heslop.
In Formula One, it was a big week for all those involved with the sport as this season's cars were released ahead of the first testing laps in Barcelona. Red Bull Racing, Mercedes and Ferrari all unveiled their new cars ahead of the first of the 4-day testing run-through. Elsewhere on social media, Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba took to Instagram following the Red Devils' 3-2 win over Southampton in the English Football League Cup on Sunday. The record signing expressed his delight at securing the trophy and revealed he's ready to win more silverware with the team. Speaking of the EFL Cup, former Birmingham City loanee Obafemi Martins also took to Instagram to relive the triumph that the current Championship club enjoyed 6 years ago. Deemed as the Obafemi Martins Day, February 27th is a day that lives long in the memories of Blues fans up and down the country. Moving on, former Chelsea midfielder Frank Lampard returned to Stamford Bridge at the weekend as their guest of honour. The former Blue thanked the club for welcoming him back, and he also thanked the fans for what he called a special and emotional afternoon. Sticking with Lampard, he went head-to-head with current Chelsea captain John Terry and ITV's Play to the Whistle on Tuesday night. The pair both put up preview clips on their social media channels ahead of the broadcast as they went face-to-face in a stare-off. Back to you guys in the studio.
In rugby, England centre Jonathan Joseph has been recalled to Eddie Jones' squad ahead of their Calcutta Cup clash against Scotland. Joseph had been left out of England's 36-15 win over Italy at the expense of Worcester's Ben Teo, but has been recalled to the training squad ahead of next weekend's match, with Henry Slade returning to Exeter Chiefs. Joseph had previously started all 15 of Jones' tests as England coach before being dropped last weekend.
Lichfield ladies have been dealt a blow after it was announced that they would not be part of the RFU's new Women's Super League next season. Despite currently challenging for the Premiership, the Staffordshire outfit were left out of the 10-team format at the expense of the new super clubs. Having missed out, Lichfield will likely lose their English internationals, which include Emily Scarrett and Olympian Natasha Hunt.
In Rugby League, the Challenge Cup 4th round draw has been released and Canadian newcomers Toronto Wolfpack will face a test after being drawn against former finalists London Broncos. Whilst Haydock, the only community team in the round, will travel to Rochdale. All ties are set to be played on the weekend beginning March 18th.
In golf, the first World Golf Championships of the year starts tomorrow as the best world players tee up in Mexico City. Rory McIlroy makes his return to competitive golf after a first few weeks off, and he's looking forward to playing the course, and he insists he's ready.
You know, it's very strategic. You got to think about where you're positioning your ball off the tee. You know, the greens are very small, quite undulating. You know, it's a really old school sort of test, and I think the guys will like that this week. Yeah, good to go. I'm still strapping it up, and I'm still I'm still being a little bit not protective, but careful. You know, I'm making sure that I'm really warmed up before going out to play. You know, a little bit of kinesio tape there just to sort of help support it, but you know, been working through the bag for the last sort of 7 to 10 days, and it feels really good. And
that's
yeah,
all for
ready to
today.
go.
Thanks for tuning.
That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back with more next week. Goodbye.